for me, I started off at the age of 16 years old. Back when I was in ITE, back then it was called ITE Bedok.
Okay.
All right, at Chai Chi. So I went to the gym. They asked me to take a look on what CCA you wanted to do. So there was a lot of few CCAs. They have like a CCA fair. So back then when I was 16, I saw a lot of CCA. What enticed me was when they start, fitness center club. So this is a CCA. So you see like the teacher coming up with a muscular body, showing off their body. Then some of the students are showing off and everything. And I see like, wow, it's quite interesting for old age and even students to get that kind of like physics. And subsequently, back then we all watch wrestling, right?
Yeah.
During the Attitude Era where you see like The Rock, Triple H, and you see all their physics are like really like, can I be there? To be truthful, right? So that was the one that actually enticed me to join the fitness center. Then there was a few of the students who were in charge of their committee. So like was teaching me like, how do you train chest? How do you do chest press? Because for us, it's like we come like push here, push there, pull here. We don't even know what we are doing.
Yeah.
So whatever machine is available.
Is it like the gym in the school itself?
School gym, correct. So whatever like the gym consists of equipment and dumbbells and everything. So back then, it's not like what they have now, like Anytime Fitness, they have good equipment. Back then was like really like the Arnold Schwarzenegger time where, your equipment doesn't even have a brand.
Okay.
So that's how old was it.
But isn't that like okay, this is what I'm going to assume how a gym looks like because I recently joined a boxing gym.
Okay.
And to be fair, I initially because I don't understand bodybuilding at all.
Okay.
I don't understand the whole idea of it being a sport. But I get it, like why people want to go for a run, why people wants to do high jump. It's very tangible.
Correct. But
you have like or people go to like MMA gym, like go for self-defense. It's a very tangible goal. For bodybuilding, it kind of like faced me like, what the fuck is this?
Okay, so if you are looking at two aspects, right? So if you notice that SEA Games doesn't have bodybuilding anymore, they took out bodybuilding because they deem bodybuilding as a leisure activity. All right, because sports comes in various forms, like you need to go for performance, like archery. All right, even MMA, you need to go through a certain cycle of training, build up to that level before you will start to compete, weigh in and everything. But for bodybuilding, when you're at a peak, you're at your weakest point.
Yeah.
Right? Because your body fat is very low, you don't get enough sleep, you dehydrate yourself, and there's no such thing called as performance anymore. So it's like much more into how well your aesthetic is, how well your sculpture is being built. So my perception on bodybuilding would fall on the leisure purposes instead of sports also. But if we are looking at sports itself, it's much more like more to performance, like what you say. MMA, boxing, they do for a reason. Competitions, but bodybuilding competition is a source of visual. Like a very fast one, like you go up on the stage, like, okay, 1 minute posing, subsequently comparison, and that's it. Like boxing example, you go for many rounds, like 10 rounds. MMA, like 4 or 5 rounds, see how long you stand. You tap out and everything. So different sports have different, I would say, perspective on what's your reason to compete. All right. So my reason why I joined bodybuilding back then was that I was amazed, like, oh, this is how you actually create your physics, because not many people know how to build up their physics. So
because you do different sports, you get different kind of physics.
Correct. I was a swimmer in my younger days when I was in primary school. So, like, you can really swim, you can breathe underwater. That's sports, yes. The performance is there, the stamina is there. The purpose is what? Of swimming? Speed. So it's part of the sports where you need to have speed. Even athlete, for example, you run, you sprint, speed again. So most of the thing that that what is it for?
Even you compare like footballer versus sprinters. Like that is like that. You look at the mechanics of their sports as well. Like sprinting for footballer is like left and right, like many directional change, and you have their calf is a little bit more well formed than those guys who are just sprinting like one track.
direction.
Yeah. So to me, just like you look at sports stars versus bodybuilders. You look at Arnold. I don't think Arnold Schwarzenegger can last in a football game.
Definitely.
But and I don't think that Cristiano Ronaldo can survive a grueling like a bodybuilding competition as well.
Correct, because the aspect that you're looking into, one is that what you name stamina, endurance of the muscles, right? So bodybuilding is based on power, not power like powerlifting, but like people say hypertrophy lifting, whereby you do actually between repetitions of 8 to 12 reps. All right, like for endurance, they do a lot of high repetitions. So like those people who compete in endurance sports and etc. like boxing, you can see. So I do have some of my friends who actually boxing. They go to the gym. You see the training is different kind of training.
Oh yeah.
Even though they do with dumbbells, it's totally different from how we do as a physics sculpture. Is very different. All right. So when you're talking regarding about soccer, soccer comes with two mechanics also. One is skills, the technique of passing the ball, controlling the ball, handling the ball, plus speed also.
I think they are also doing a lot more like they also do like short bursts as well.
Correct.
Burst, recovery as well.
But you got to see in terms of which position are you being at.
Yeah.
Are you the defender, midfielder, or the person who's going to attack to score? So we got to see which is your strength also. Doesn't mean, because defender most of the time will be at the back. We all know that, right? Midfielder is the one that running front and back most of the time. So we need to see what's their expertise also. So bodybuilding after that start to evolve, as we can see that now they have a lot of division, because back then was just bodybuilding. When it comes to SEA Games or Asian Games, they give you the different weight like bantamweight, lightweight, welterweight, light heavyweight.
But what's the weight cap for?
Okay, so the weight cap for is actually based on your body weight. So because it doesn't justify for a 80 kilo person to fight below 55 kilo person.
That's for bodybuilding.
Correct.
But why though? Like, okay, so this is my stupid brain come in, right? Sure. My monkey brain when it comes to watching bodybuilders, right? Shouldn't be like a 80 kg weight person, right, versus a 50 kg weight person, where their cut should be proportionately similar.
Okay, we have to take a look on the individual build also, because not many people can even have that kind of height, that kind of frame to be fair. Alright, even if you're going to take example for a individual who is smaller build, alright, because we know that certain individuals scientifically, genetically form as a small build. They have a certain limit capacity that they can put on much this muscle, alright, and they can look this big. But as compared to another individual, alright, you're going to see like, wow, they're really big.
So basically the weight comes in is where you are trying to categorize those guys into that kind of like
correct
scientific genetic.
Correct. So for example, if I'm not wrong, bantamweight is back then was 61 to 65. Flyweight was 56 to 60. Like fly was below 55. Then after that, they got welterweight. Lightweight first. Lightweight from 66 to 70, then welter 71 to 75, then follow on every 5 kilos onwards. So that's how bodybuilding are back then. So until the sports has started to re-evaluate themselves, because like not many people start to compete in bodybuilding, because not many people can achieve such we'll put it in the way that such desirable size, such desirable bodybuilding physics, then most of them start to embrace the culture of men's physics division. That's where actually I come in right now. So men's physics division is much more attainable as compared to bodybuilding. Like Mr. Olympia, you see, they're so big. Like, how can I achieve that 24-inch arm and etc.? Of course, cannot. Like men's physics, a lot of people can. So like 18, 19-inch arm still is possible. A waistline roughly at about 28 to 30. So it's much more attainable in the way that many people can compete.
Okay.
That they can try to push themselves to look better, to look physically sculptured, aesthetically well balanced from top to bottom. And we see more people competing this time as compared to bodybuilding back then. Like, okay, these are the familiar faces always. And now you see that now it's a men's physics division. Like you see like one category, right? They followed by height now. There's no longer weight needed.
Okay.
All right.
So wait, now it's like bantam height.
Now it's like they follow by height, like class A, class B, class C.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay.
So they do have a height limit. So certain country they follow by feet. like 5'4", 5'6", and 5'8", etc. Like certain country they follow by like cm. Alright, so that's how actually they divide themselves to make sure that everybody's standing the same, they look the same. So they say, okay, now how best are you gonna be?
But here's this thing about genetics. I am going to sound very ignorant right now, but shouldn't be a body or man physics competitor, right? From say Holland, because their height is a lot higher. I suppose that genetics is a lot more built compared to the height itself, compared to say maybe an Asian country, say Singapore. Wouldn't it be like the competition? Wouldn't it be like a little bit tilted? Because I guess it will also mean that they are competing. It's an international competition, right?
Correct. Because I mean, when I was in Singapore and competing in Korea, right, where I both won first. Back in Singapore, yes, I do have athletes from Brunei, from US, Jamaica, etc. Right? Yeah, they can have that kind of genetic, but likewise, they see that how beautiful your body will look. So it doesn't mean that you can have big muscles, you can have bulging muscles, you can have that genetics that you have, but do you look beautiful on stage? Do you have that beauty? Do you have that star attraction that makes you look like, wow, you're the one? Something like that. So even when I was competing in Korea, my division, my class was the highest. I have about 24 participants to 25 participants. Imagine that. So I was competing with Taiwanese, South Korean, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, a lot of people. So we can see like how men's physique division has totally triumphed over bodybuilding right now. That it really shows that how beautiful your body looks like. Doesn't mean that you're gonna look big and everything, but do you look beautiful on stage? Do you look aesthetically? Do you see well balanced in the body, like your arm, your shoulder, your waist ratio? Do you look really beautiful in every aspect? Is it well balanced? Because when some bodybuilding, they got really big arms. Some got very big back. Alright, some got very big leg. So that is like empowering over another muscles to one another muscle. So when it comes to men's physique, you need to have all the background balance of your body.
But does it? Okay, so is bodybuilding is a competition on its own right now, and men's physique is a competition of its own right now. So it's a two different kind of competition of sports.
Okay, so you see, when men's physique division was introduced, right, it was under the IFBB bodybuilding. Alright, because they wanted to expand more. So for example, you have women bodybuilding, right? And they expand to women's physique, they expand to women's bikini. So they're trying to open up more division for more people to compete. Alright, to entice more people to be in the industry of being an athlete in competitions. Within the same, I would say in the same ring, because you still need to diet, you still need to train, you still need to understand your body. You still need to know how and what type of training you need to do, how you're supposed to look like. So different division will allow you to look different, alright? So for example, for guys, you have men's physique definitely. You have classic physique. So classic physique reminds me in the era where like Frank Zane, where we have Arnold period during that time.
Okay.
Alright?
So that's all 1980s
kind of period, because where our back then the bodybuilding will look much more aesthetically.
So that's pretty much like the I would say the golden age of
bodybuilding.
Okay.
Because now the current age is like really like everything is huge.
Oh yeah.
So that's why they make two different divisions for individual to compete. So they have like men's physique followed by classic physique. Alright, so classic physique is a mixture of bodybuilding. Alright, and men's physique like in the middle, and followed by the bodybuilding itself. So bodybuilding they have like a 212 followed by the weight. And anybody is above 212, they will compete in the open really.
Okay.
212 pounds and therefore open. So for women now, they recently came out like bikini, we all know. They got figure, they got woman physiques, and recently they introduced wellness, because we do have quite a few of women who have big legs, they can't have smaller legs, right?
Yeah.
So these women actually have different form of genetic. So like for example, if you're asking most of the South American, alright, they come from like Portugal, Argentina, Brazil, alright. This kind of country, they have well-developed big legs. So how they got to compete in bikini? Not possible. So which means that yes, you have some of the athletes that compete in bikini, but most of them will be in the wellness division. So you can see that there's more division coming up that's suitable for individual kind of body, individual kind of genetic. So which is much more fair, I would say.
I because I'm imagining like the whole idea of like bodybuilding. It's okay. My idea of bodybuilding would be like current right now would be alongside of like how Arnold Schwarzenegger would be like. So or even men's physics, because and right now there's a lot like influencers or doing like health influencers as well. So it's to me it's like I don't understand, right, the whole like how genetics will play will be in play when it comes to when it comes to bodybuilding. I know it will be in play. Like I'm just imagining like someone who is around 55 kg, who has lower testosterone or the hormones and stuff like that, compared to the other guy who is like same weight, also maybe higher genetic.
Okay, so to put it the way regarding about, you mentioned about testosterone level, right? Okay, there is always a various function that we look at. So that is considered as a health issue for individual men, because I know some men do have low testosterone. That's why they start to build up more fats and lose muscle easily because of low testosterone and high estrogen in the body. Alright, so that is very subjective, I would say. Alright, that really depend on how they're gonna overcome it, because of course there are various ways that they can overcome it.
What? Right? Okay, I'm gonna dive a little bit.
Please.
So the idea of like, because I was reading up a little bit on testosterone level as well. So, what are the methods to improve your own testosterone as well?
Okay, we look at various forms, right? I mean, so one of my friend who have a low testosterone problem went to seek doctor. So they take a blood test, they take testosterone test and everything, came back. So it was below the normal, like way below.
What's normal then? What's considered normal?
I can't remember their normal weight, to be truthful. So he did share with me that the doctor said it was way below, that it was on the critical level, and that's why he feel like weak easily. No matter how much he train, he can lift up heavy. And he's putting on more fats than usual, and he start to lose muscle even though he didn't do anything. So the doctor actually prescribed him with testosterone replacement therapy, which is by injecting steroids, testosterone steroids based on pharma grade, every week or every month, depend on how consistent they need to. So every time when they visit the doctor, like every month, they check again the result.
But how much though? Is it expensive?
That really depends on the doctor, on the test, how they give you. Asking me the price, I may not know. Because the only thing that I had a conversation with him was that he is going through a therapy.
Okay.
So there is such thing as a thing called testosterone replacement therapy, because he was having a medical issue for that. So he was not fertile, he was not he was trying for kids, so he couldn't get. So there was a lot of medical issues that he was facing. So when he went to the doctor to understand what's going on, then now they found out that this is the reason why. So it really depends on individual, like whether do they have a medical issue or medical history, or it could be related of a family history also.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it can be genetic as well.
Can be also. So I mean, but of course it's a very small percentage, not that much. So it's really play by luck whether does it happen to you or not, because when you grow up throughout the time, whether do you see yourself like, how do you see yourself in the mirror, whether do you lose muscle, do you look weird and everything. So there's a lot of aspects that we need to look upon to. Like for him, he tried to take a lot of lifting weights, no matter how he eat. He got a personal trainer for years, doesn't have any improvement. So until when he see a medical professional, then the medical professional, actually the doctor told him, okay, we need to do this test. Then that's how he discovered.
Okay. So basically, how much science is there? Just
a lot of science. But the real thing about bodybuilding, all right, is the sleep, is the food, is the workout. Because why I say that? Yes, the food can work for me, but does it work for you?
Oh yeah.
All right, I can take beef, I can take chicken. All right, my body respond. When you take beef, does your body respond to beef, or does your body respond to other type of meat?
But how do you know if it responds correctly, or how?
There's always a trial and error, because like myself, I did a lot of trial and error to understand my body. Alright, like for example, my body doesn't work well with brown rice.
Okay.
Because when I eat brown rice, my body look bloated. So I changed to basmati rice.
Uh-huh.
Basmati rice just works for me better.
Basmati rice is like What kind of rice is that?
It's an Indian rice. Indian long grain rice.
Oh, okay. So it's not the biryani rice, right?
It's something like that, correct. That's the one. But they don't cook in the biryani way lah.
Yeah.
So I just cook white rice. My body absorb better. I don't feel sleepy after eating. As compared like when I eat normal white rice or brown rice, it doesn't work for me.
Oh yeah.
So for example, next one, I try fish and beef. So before sleep, I take beef. I don't feel that hungry. But next day, my body, when I woke up, I feel so much pump.
Okay.
I mean, the creatine is being absorbed, the protein is being absorbed, my body is responding it. So I tried fish. I feel hungry very fast. It digests so fast for me. I feel hungry, to be truthful. And morning when I wake up, I feel flat. You can feel there's no pump and everything. So that's actually a try and error, like few weeks to see whether how your body responds.
Okay.
Right? So next when we're talking about, some people say, oh, you can eat a lot of calories, you can eat a lot of rice because you exercise a lot. I say, yes, exercise a lot means that we can eat. But there will be a certain limitation that makes your body insulin resistant again. Which means that there will be a point where you start to eat more carbo, you start to gain fat rather than gain muscle or even gain muscles. Alright, you start to get more fats. So that's where we need to make our body insulin sensitive back.
This is okay. I'm telling you this because I'm trying to relate to you on this because I'm like, because I recently tried a carnivore diet, so just pure meat for a month. Then I stopped because I got lazy in cooking.
Of course, it's not easy, honestly, which is true, especially cooking beef.
Man, it's like cooking. I was like trying chicken first, then I was like chicken ready. Then I read, I was like, oh, because it's so lean for chicken. So I tried pork, tried beef, Then I realized it's like, even if different kind of cooking, you also mean different kind of body absorption as well.
Correct. Like, because for me, what I focus is because of course we are working adults, yeah? So we don't have the benefit of like really do a good cooking using what they call it, the machine. I can't remember. They do have a machine.
Is it air fryer?
Not air fryer. They put inside the hot water with a bag. I can't remember. Start from S. So that way of cooking was a good one. They say that it protect the molecules of the protein and everything. So that is science for it also. So but for me, I keep it simple. Alright, just pan with pan spray, some marination, paprika. For beef, I will put smoked beef seasoning for the taste. So some sauce, usually I use like sriracha sauce and everything. So I eat. So that's why when people say that, is it true that when doing bodybuilding or men's physics, 70% of your success is based on your nutrition? I say yes. Why I say that? There was a point in time that I was not competing. So I stopped competing from the age of 21 until 30. Okay. So my last competition was 20. Then after that, I stopped for a hiatus of 10 years.
But why though?
Alright, I went through different phases of life. So I decided to continue my education back. I did my masters. It was a rocky road for me. Okay. So I got to work and pay for my education accordingly. So I wasn't having the luxury of going the easy path. Alright. So I do carry weights the same way that I always do, but I don't care about my food. Okay. But again, every time I look at myself in the mirror, why I still have a big fat tummy, a waistline of 36 and 37. Really, that's why I was like, I don't understand. So back then, of course, because we are not into science, alright, into regarding about nutrition and everything.
Oh, I just want to see like a big fat, the big guy with the muscle. They don't need to think and stuff like which is kind of silly lah.
Yeah. So after that, when I realized, right, when I start dieting and exercise the same, on top of it, I add cardio. So my form of cardio is just by treadmill. If I feel boring, I will change to elliptical machine or even cycling. Alright. So what really changed my body a lot was to the phase of nutrition. That makes you understand that how much your body needs calories. How do you push yourself? How much do you need? Sometimes we are a foodie person, especially when your mom cooking. Who cares? I'm just going to go back home and take like 2 or 3 plate of biryani rice. I don't care. And what they call it? Oh, it's bulk, bro. Mass time, mass gainer. Yeah, mass gainer. You see your stomach also mass gainer back then. Yeah, man, those were the days. What you doing, bro? I'm messing up. What you messed up?
I'm bulking, bro. I'm dirty bulking, bro.
I'm dirty bulking, yeah. But after that, you find out it's like really unhealthy, you know. So there was a point in time that I really dirty bulk, right? Until 96 kilo. It was very tough for me to walk, honestly. Just from one block to another place, I was panting badly.
I get it, right? I'm bulking up right now because I got a competition and I'm fighting at a weight.
Okay.
Around 80, at around heavyweight. So I'm not so. I think it's about the same class size as bodybuilding when it comes to weight class.
Different actually because
80, it's around 86 to 92. Is it the same?
Different now because I think they split to different categories already because it's very different. Like for now, right? Like classic bodybuilding example, right? If followed by height, if I'm not wrong, yeah. Let's say you're 170. Example for classic physique, they call it like classic bodybuilding, right? It's minus 100 plus 4 kilo. Example, something like that. So if like 170, the max you can go is like 74.
Oh.
Something like that. But they have the calculation for you on the internet, like how you're going to calculate yourself. Yep, so that you will not exceed the limit.
Okay.
So they do have actually. So that's why I say that it really make it very difficult for people to look too big, to look too small. Like you got to meet the weight and everything. Yeah. So that's why when people say that nutrition, yes, it plays the biggest part in your success for nutrition. So after when I start dieting, I noticed a lot of changes in my body, especially my health, honestly. So my blood pressure went down. My stamina went up in terms of like I can walk easily without feeling tired, without panting. And the best part was actually when I was inside the gym, right? I do not need to rest long because you know when your body's too heavy, your heart is pumping.
So this is just me looking at this thing and just like feeling like because I'm now trying to bulk out now.
Okay.
I'm now trying to fit in the weight itself because my weight suddenly dropped like crazy. I was like 90, then it suddenly dropped to 88, it suddenly dropped to 87. But I'm fighting around 86 to 92. And I'm like, I'm not so sure how to deal with the so now I'm trying to bulk out, right? And I'm not so sure whether I have enough time for that. Then I realized, oh man, dirty bulking is not as easy as it sounds like.
Dirty bulking, yes, it's not as easy. You can just eat, but it affects your performance.
Yes.
Because when it comes to boxing, you need to have the technical skill, the speed, and everything. It will affect badly.
Yeah. So that's where the negative side of things coming in, which I am like very worried about. Like the whole idea of like the speed, like I feel like I'm getting lazier, and stuff like that. But I'm also afraid that my strength went down, like because it's very simple of like F equals MA, right? When it comes to like my force of when it comes to boxing and stuff like that. So it's like, I do not know what to sacrifice.
Because if you sacrifice your speed, then the force effort going out is different.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
Because for me, as my humble opinion, right, you can just do a lean bulking. You can just do a calorie surplus, but not that much. So you just monitor like how much you need to eat a bit more, that you notice that you start to gain weight. So when you start to notice that weight stagnant, then you start to increase a little bit more. So that's how we measure for ourselves. Like for myself, I do have a weighing scale, example, right? So in the morning, I weigh my oats. 60 gram is 60 gram. Alright, I weigh my peanut butter, 20 gram is 20 gram. Yeah, so that's how accurate I do my kind of weighing for my food.
Do you feel tired? Okay, this is just me as a layman coming in. Is it tiring? Because I initially counted my weight, the way of food weighing, until I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to do one meal a day. I didn't know it was intermittent fasting at the point of time, but I was like doing one heavy meal a day. I don't care what I eat, but just one big fucking meal a day. So I can eat pizza, I can eat rice, I can eat biryani, but I have to like choose what I eat.
Okay.
Then after that, my weight dropped because the calorie surplus is negative.
Okay.
Because you cannot possibly... it's very difficult for you to eat 3,000 calories per day.
Trust me, it's not easy.
It's not easy.
Unless you're drinking oil, yes. Which is true, right? Okay, like for myself, right, like you mentioned regarding about that, so how do I feel? Okay, honestly, for me, I believe in one thing. Alright, me, myself, how well disciplined I am, how focused I am in my goals, alright, and how determined that I want to achieve my goals. Alright, if this is gonna take me like 1 year, I'll just do it. Alright, being consistent. So the one thing that put athletes ahead from a normal people, I won't say normal people, like not like that, what I mean, yeah? Normal people who thinks that being an athlete is easy. Right, what puts the real athlete ahead is their discipline, their focus, and how determined they deem this goal is important to them. So when these three combine together, right, they know, okay, of course, by the benefit of doubt, you will have your normal meal, definitely. I won't use the word cheat meal. I will use the word as a normal meal because it's a normal food that we eat. In Singapore, definitely, chicken rice is still a normal food, right? Biryani is a normal food. So why was it a cheat meal? Alright, like for myself, for instance, right, yes, I weigh my food. I do what I need to. So example, let's say there will be one day that I do have craving, example. That is a time that it kicks in. So it's not like I feel moody. It's not as though like I'm like, well, I'm really gonna need a lot of like, oh, I'm gonna junk and everything. No. So what I do is very simple. Okay. The funny thing about me when it comes to this kind of day that I have, right? Okay, I always allocate like 2 days. I will have one meal each. So it means I took out my two of my weighing meal that I did for myself, right? I took out. I will have one normal meal. And the best part, right? I start to ask myself, I want to eat biryani, but I don't have the mood. I want to eat mee goreng. Like, sure, no, worth it not to have that mee goreng like, because you already determined and focus on the goals that you want, right? But somehow you know that your body still needs it. Because I mean your body is craving for it and your cortisol level is a bit high because you know your body is a bit stressed. Alright, so you still need a normal food to actually counter back to release that stress a bit. So yeah.
I want to ask the stress then.
Correct.
Because I think that stress is very important when it comes to exercise as well. Because if you exercise, I think stress will lead down to the fall of testosterone level. Stress will also make your workout not easy.
I would say no, alright? Because okay, a lot of things we look at upon, right? Many people say, oh, I'm stressed, I'm going to take antidepressant pill. Or I'm stressed, I'm going to sit down and binge eating. So I mean, what are you doing for yourself, for your health? The first thing to me, like regarding about stress, the first thing how you're going to recover is not like going to the doctor telling you're stressed. Go to the gym, hit the gym, carry the weights, release the endorphins. Because once you release the endorphin, you release your stress hormone. You feel better. You feel better, you look better. So like people say that, oh, I'm so stressed, I go to the doctor, take medication. I say, why? Oh, because I can't handle stress. So to me, I don't believe in like taking medication to control your stress level. Alright, but my belief are that there's always alternative that you can do. Go to the gym, go swimming. You can do running, simple. It's just whether you're lazy or not. Alright, so for me, I'm a kind of person that I want to do all this, release my endorphins, carry weights. Yes, I feel fresh. I feel good. I look in the mirror, wow, my body looks pumped, like, oh, I look awesome. So I'm in that kind of position where, yes, I can be very stressed at work because I'm working at the senior management level. Alright, mid-senior management level, alright. The workload is crazy. Yes, it can be stressed. I always look forward to go to the gym. So when I hit the gym, it's like, if today is really a bad day, I can really push even more. With the adrenaline rush, say, oh, I'm going to kill it in the gym. I say, I'm going to take it out in the gym. So I go to the gym, I take it out, I push as hard as possible. I do my cardio. At the end of the cardio, I look in the mirror, I say, wow, this is a good day, man. And go back and feel happy. Yeah. So to me, it's like how you handle your stress, in which way, how you divert yourself to release that stress. Because to me, it's still very simple that gym is my cure for stress.
I think it should also be put as the first
main priority.
Yeah.
Correct.
Before, I don't understand the idea of exercising as the main level, as the first level of antidepressants until I started doing exercising. or until I started doing boxing, because I realized that's what I enjoy doing it.
Correct, because once you start to enjoy, you loving it.
Yeah.
You love to do it because you have a reason to do it.
Yeah.
Because you, first of all, when people say they're stressed, they're depressed because they don't find a meaning to it. They don't find a meaning to their life. So what's you're depressed for? Yes, I know that sometimes it's going to be very hard because you come from different background, tough family life. But you yourself create your future. I always believe in this wording that there's a saying. You are your own hero. You create your future, not other people. So you are your own hero that you got to save yourself from everything. So you create a path to what you want to be.
But it also takes a while to understand what kind of sports that, I would say sports in general, to relate to yourself. Like, I've tried football, I've tried rugby, I've tried basketball, like, and I've tried going to the gym. And to be honest, I really hate going to the gym, because it felt meaningless. Because one thing, I do not know what I'm doing. Second thing is because I got this whole idea of like, oh my god, like, people are there, they're really pumped and stuff like that, right? It's only when I realized the reason why I like certain sports is because of the competitive edge to it. Then at the age of 30, then I found out my love for the reason, found boxing and combat sports.
So you found out it's because that's the reason why.
Yeah, so there's a tangible goal in front.
Correct.
That I can work myself to it. I can see the goal. I can see that, okay, this is my challenge in front of me, and I have to fight to win it. Like I have to literally fight to win, right? So there's the idea of like putting yourself in a hero's journey to challenge the guy. So, and it takes me quite a while to go to that point of view, like saying to understand why. So I guess it also takes a little while for people to understand, hey, you run to run. It's not because you run is because you want to. For me, running right now is to achieve my goal of being better in boxing. And I'm not running because I like to run. I hate to run.
Well, same as for me. I don't like to do cardio, but you still have to do it, right?
You still have to do it.
You can't run away from it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the perspective that you say, I understand where you're coming from. But the perspective that I'm coming from, right? You have to give your reason to why you're doing this. Alright? Yes, you gave a reason earlier on because you say you go to the gym, you hate it because why? You do not know what you're doing. So the first question you ask is, why are you doing it? So the next, you really shared yourself that you do not know what you're doing. So you see that it relates back. That because you do not know what you're doing, it goes back to ground zero.
But then again, everyone is like pushing the idea of like, okay, so this is what I am coming from, complaining. I'm going to use the word complain here.
I would say feedback.
No, this is more like a complaint kind of thing where because it was being instilled to us that we need to have a fit and healthy body, but that's all. Or at least that's what I learned, right? Like when I was younger, fit and healthy body, it doesn't mean anything. It's like, oh, you have to exercise. Every year we have this dreaded NAFA, IPPT, right? You have to go run 2.4 kilometers to just to so that, oh, you are a fit person, right? And you have to fit in this weight category. But it doesn't make sense to me, right? It's just like, so I have to go to the gym. I have to put in like the amount of weights. I have to like, my friends and I we are I think at some level we are some egomaniacs, like saying, oh, do you even live, bro? Like the kind of situation where we don't and I don't understand the whole idea of like you have to enjoy fitness, you have to enjoy moving, you have to enjoy exercising, or you have to enjoy.
I know what you're relaying at. I will put this in the way that how well you understand what is fitness first. Alright, because most of you will say that, oh, I have to lose weight because why? I need to go for my NAFA test, or I will need to last time they called it back in my time, tough club.
Yeah.
I think remember the medicine ball, you got to run and everything.
Oh, I hated that. I was like,
yep.
When I do that, half of my research is gone. Like, I want to go down and play football with my friends.
So back then, but because when we were young, our mind were not well educated with fitness knowledge, like basic sports science, alright, basic fitness, basic exercise science. So we will not well educated because we were not at that level yet to understand what is what. Even though when we learned, I think there was one called health education back in primary school. If you remember, health education. Yeah, we learned. But as we were kids, we are not like that serious because we are still like in our children mindset where we watch Power Ranger.
I don't think my teachers is also well equipped to answer questions as well.
Correct. Because they know that the fundamental of primary school students back then, right, was just to complete PSLE and go secondary one. So the main focus regarding about NAPFA test is just because as a criteria for the school to meet to ensure that they have a healthy level of students inside the school themselves. All right. And I think during the parents-teacher meeting, a lot of parents bring up that my son is fat, are you going to do something? My son is obese, how is it? Is the school going to take any action? So I think that's where they start to come up with a few of activities. But to instill the knowledge of health education properly within the age of student, right, it's very difficult because we are playful. Back then, who cares? We are watching like Dragon Balls, right? He-Man and everything. It's like, so what? Yeah, we were just gonna be crazy with our creativity mind in our dreams, saying, yeah, we are like that now. We got 6 packs. And we even take markers and draw on our body.
But isn't that healthy? Okay, so this is just me coming out. Like, isn't that healthier compared to say you just force us to go for a tough club and go for a run, because we don't understand the idea of fitness.
Correct. So that's why they actually do a way of calling indirectly forcing, but back in those days they do make it a fun activity. Like sports day, they make a reason to why you need to have such fitness level.
But then again, it's like an ego. Oh man, I hated sports day.
Yeah.
Because it makes no sense to me. Like I'm part of the audience member. I don't want to be that. Can you just give me my day off? Or even if you ask me to sit down in the class and sit down and don't do anything, pretend that I'm studying. Okay, I understand. But if you come in like, there's a half day today, the second half of the day, you just go to a sports hall. It's hot. You're just trying to cheer the people you don't relate to.
I remember back then was at the stadium. They asked you to go. Oh, you be there at 2:30. Teachers gonna take attendance and everything. So, well, I mean, yet again, it's very subjective because I mean that's a school protocol again. So I mean, of course, back in those days, none of us were interested. Even for me, who cares? All right. But as we grow older, we start to be much more aware of our surrounding. All right. We start to be well knowledgeable regarding about health, especially not fitness yet. Talking about health. Why? Reason being given when we see our auntie go to hospital, we start to notice that, why? The doctor said, it's because of high cholesterol. What's cholesterol? Like some doctor said, because you eat a lot of fatty food, this is what happened. And when we see our auntie or our uncle or our grandparents on the hospital bed, we feel scared. And that's why we start to ask ourselves, is that health very important? So that's where, for me, my interest came about. That seeing people sick in the hospital enticed me to understand more what is health all about. So health actually relate to fitness really after that. So without fitness, there's no health because you still got to do push-up, example. I'm not going to say gym yet. Push-up, sit-up,
those
basic.
Calisthenic exercises?
Correct.
The body weight exercises?
Correct. Walking lunges. Like you go to what they call it, the health fitness corner. Remember downstairs about they had a health fitness corner. They have the monkey bar back then. So yeah. So back in those days, like, okay, I think I need to do this 1 week once because we feel afraid. And we start to learn. So slowly, when days passes by, years passes by, right? When we grow up, we start to see our family member pass away, especially our grandparents. Some of it is because of old age, and some of it is really because of health issue. Because back then, in their generation, there's no such thing as health education. They just eat every day, like, sorry to say, because like my grandparents every day Indian food. Right, so
that's how they grew up with. That's
how the traditional works like. So I can understand that once like now we are well knowledgeable, we can see that a lot of people, they are much more aware of food. Now even when they buy food, they see behind the nutrition fact, oh, this contains this. Is there a healthier choice logo? Oh, I'm not supposed to take this. Or this is too much MSG and salt. Or this is this. So which is good? I'm seeing that on the...
But there's a lot of false information going around.
Correct.
Not even just online. It's even when my friends say, "Oh, you should read," but at that level, I still see. Okay, look, there are things that you should be very careful with.
So there's two things. That one is called real science. One is called bro science.
Oh yeah.
All right. So for me, I am a kind of person that I read through journal articles. All right. Journal article published by researchers. All right. Where they put their statistic, where they do their qualitative testing. All right. And we see what's the result. So they do testing. They do.
But even if just that, right? Okay, you arm with information from research journals. But here's this thing. I come from a place where marketing is a thing. Words like natural, words like certain words are being used to put out there.
So example, like you mentioned that, right? Let's put simple protein powder. All right, the best marketing tool. You just put a person who's big size, having a lot of titles, or he's using protein. By the end of the day, we know it's not just protein.
There's other stuff as well.
That's why you see the fine line. Subjected to training and proper nutrition.
But you are talking about some layman, some people who's walking into supermarket, right? And you have like a low fat. And okay, I'm a huge proponent of fats. I think that fats are good. Fats are great if you don't have carbs.
Okay, I do agree on the point that fat is better than having
sugar.
Simple carbs.
Yeah.
Alright, because when simple carbs is being absorbed, your body insulin start to rise very fast.
Yes.
Which I would agree with you on that point. So, like again, you see that of course false way of marketing, they always like to use low fat. But when you turn back, wow, the sugar
very high.
Very high. Well, really low fat.
Even if the word natural, natural can mean a lot of things. But we are being instilled that natural is good, organic is good. But to be honest, organic it's a marketing term that was being used by a lot of people that may or may not be true, that may or may not be good in a sense.
Because organic I only use for oats only for myself. Because oats usually have the highest pesticide. So I'm quite careful on my oats. Usually I buy organic oats. Alright. That's the reason why when it comes to organic, I usually focus more on my oats because the pesticide level is very high, which I'm a bit concerned sometimes.
Are you eating pesticides or are you eating?
Correct. So that's why most of the time I don't buy fast food. I cook my own food, so I know what I'm putting.
Yeah.
Yes, you can put low fat, low what, but I mean bullshit. Come on, we turn back, we see that low fat, but wow, the sugar per serving is 50 grams of sugar. Well, like really, 50 grams of sugar, how high is that?
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Example, just one can of Coca-Cola, 8 teaspoons, if I'm not wrong, of sugar. Yep.
I'm now going for Coke Zero, and I'm like, maybe I should
7-Up Zero, they have even iced lemon tea, they come with zero, which is good. Another alternative, of course, it's not as good as drinking plain water, but it's a better alternative than drinking soft drink. Alright, so even for myself, I drink 7-Up free, Coke Zero. My favorite is iced lemon tea zero, to be honest.
But here's this thing, it's ironic because iced lemon tea lemon is fruit. If someone tell me they want fruit juice, and like they keep drinking fruit juice but they don't understand why our body is still maintaining the way it is, I'm like, cut down on fruit juice.
There's still fructose right inside.
Yes. Yep. So there's this fructose, glucose, and lactose. Is it lactose when it comes to sugar?
Dextrose.
Dextrose, right? So that's come from fruits, come from rice as well.
They have a lot of different types of sugars, actually, right? Starch, like what you say, right? So usually some of my friends back then, they say, oh, they buy fruit juice, but they don't do sweet. But when we look at back then I was studying high tech in sports management. I was a pioneer batch. Alright, so our teacher was telling us, can you come out like as a team with a nutrition meal in the morning breakfast. So when we were doing some research and everything, we noticed that we thought morning fruit juice was good, right? Apple juice plus banana, something like that, right? But then we noticed that the sugar content was high, even though there was no added sugar or something like that. So it got to the point that now we understand why some people, when they take fruit juice, they're still not losing weight. It's because it's still sugar.
But then again, I read this article saying like the reason why fruits are good, fruit juice are not good is because of the fiber content. That if you blend your fruits, even if you blend your fruits, you are getting rid of the fiber, and the fiber is there to ease down on the amount of sugar that you're going to take if you just blend and get a fruit juice.
Okay, so if you're talking regarding about fiber, right, that really depends. Alright, of course, I do see some of the fibers are being taken out, which I won't deny, but I do see some of my friends who eat a lot of fruits and they still don't lose weight. It's still the same. To me, it's very simple. I still follow by the basic, which is the maths. Energy output, calories input equal to the maintenance calories or surplus or minus. That's it. I always stick to the basic. I'm not going to make it very complicated like, oh, there's fiber, there's this, there's that. I'm going to stick to the basic maths still. 1 plus 1 is still 2. Right, 2 minus 1 is 1. So which one are you using now? Are you going to have more energy output and less calorie input to make sure that you have a calorie deficit, or you have moderate energy output or higher calorie input as surplus of calories where you're going to put on weight? So still from the basic perspective, I will see from the basic maths still.
Okay.
Which I still believe it because it works for me.
For me, it's just simple. I used to go for calorie in, calorie out. Then it goes like, it's easier to just eat 1 meal a day. I'm now trying to go back to eat 1 meal a day. 1 fucking heavy meal a day. And not think about the rest of the day. You eat your meal, it's the end of the night. Like that's...
because for myself, I do calculate my calories. So at least I know at which point that is too much for me. That I start to put on weight. Okay, I think this is the reason that this amount is allowing me to put on more weight. So I know my energy output, how many. I know my calories input, how many. So I really gain weight or I still maintain my weight? So I would know my maintenance calories would be how much that I know I'm not putting on weight. So, but again, alright, there will be a point in time that your body start to be insulin resistance. Then no matter how much you eat, you're still going to put on weight.
But here's the thing. CICO, calories in, calories out. So let's just say you're still taking 1,002, but you hit your insulin resistance.
Correct.
Will you still gain weight though?
You will put on weight as in you gain fat faster.
Yeah.
So then that's where I need to actually recycle my carbs back, reduce my carbs slowly for 8 weeks to 10 weeks, make my body insulin sensitive again, and then subsequently then we start the whole process back.
Okay.
So at least I know that my body is not like gaining fat, too much fat. Of course, you still gain fat, but not as much. So when you're insulin resistance, you put on weight, right? So when you recomp the body back, you start to do carb cycling. You start to lose your weight a bit. Of course, you will lose weight definitely. Then your body start to be sensitive. Then you actually push up your calories back to gain lean muscle.
Oh, okay, okay. We talk a lot about fitness. We talk about diet, right? I'm going to switch gears a little bit.
Sure.
I'm going to talk about fitness influencer. It's a topic that I don't know.
Okay.
But I kind of like feeling very sensitive, right? It feels like it's a can of worms.
To me, honestly, I'm not an influencer, I would dare to say. And a lot of fitness influencers are both signs. They do not know what they're doing. They are just like famous just because of the number of followers.
I know there's a South African influencer, South African bodybuilder, I would say. He's calling himself Daddy Noel or something like that.
Okay.
So basically he was being he's very open about like, oh look, I'm doing steroids right now. He's I saw him on YouTube Shorts where it's very where he say, okay, look, like that he teach things that most of other YouTube bodybuilders are saying yes with, in a sense where they have done bodybuilding before. They agree with what he's saying, which is generally true. So So since he got like he's supported by a few bodybuilders. It was like, okay, look, I think that's true then. And he was very honest about what he's putting. So but here's this thing about like fitness influencer in fitness influencer where you are being the Instagram guy, where if you're the Instagram influencer when it comes to fitness, right? What does it really mean to be a fitness influencer, in a sense where how does it entails to be like what are the dangers behind for all the bull signs then?
Okay, the thing regarding about fitness influencer, of course, there are real influencer who is well knowledgeable in every aspect, even when it comes to nutrition, science, kinesiology, and even the usage of drugs. Alright, for them, I really respect a lot because I do research and understand what they're talking about. And there will be some of these few people who say, oh, come do with me these 7 days, you will get a flat tummy. Yep, so, and these people have the highest followers. That's because why? You can prove that these simple exercises just by lifting up and down for the next 7 days, you're going to lose weight. So, I mean, totally, to me, alright, these days is all about how you promote yourself. Alright, so what I take a look and notice that a lot of influencers just reach out to people what they want to see and what they want to hear. Alright, it's not what they want to face in reality. So the reality aspect, like I mentioned again, like I told you, right? Yes, a bodybuilding or men's physique or anything, I can give you the steroids all you want. But are you able to diet? Are you able to get that nutrition? Are you able to get that job done by exercising in the gym? Are you able to put that intensity and strength and time and sweat and tears in the gym? That mentally draining when you're dieting? And get that enough sleep? And having that lonely life for the next 12 weeks just for you to compete?
How lonely is the life of a bodybuilder? I'm going on a tangent first. Yep. Right? So because you talk about lonely life, how lonely is the life of a bodybuilder? Because I understand the lonely life of a boxer, because I can imagine someone who's doing boxing and how it can be like a lonely road. I've not been there, but I can see that.
Okay, we can put in perspective that first of all, right? When your friends or even your family members, you're gonna go to the cinema or during your off day, and you're competing. You're on low calories. You're tired, mentally tired, physically tired, but you are led to no choice. But you still need to hit the gym. All right, that mental focus, that discipline that you have forced you to go to the gym. You're alone there. Nobody's gonna be by your side telling you, "Hey, keep going." That's number one. Okay. Number two, all right, who's going to push you? Okay, unless you have a training buddy, which is good. But most of the time, you're mentally tired, you go at your own timing. You wouldn't want to even talk to anyone because you're too exhausted already. Especially the last 4 weeks. All you want to do is just like get over and done with so you can get more sleep and everything. No, you're not going to go lunch with your friends because you know what your friend's going to eat nice food. The smell's going to entice you. It's either you make it or you break it. All right? So the next aspect we are looking into a lonely life, right? You will get improper sleep because of your body on a survival mode, because your body fat is low, you can't sleep properly. As soon as you can sleep, you sleep. And suddenly you just wake up, and sometimes you can wake up in the middle of the night and people are really sleeping. And when you're actually really sleeping, people are at work. So most of the time you're alone. So that's why at the end of the day, that bodybuilding sports is not for everyone. It's really for those people who are dedicated to the sports.
I think I'm not, because I don't understand the whole sleeping pattern then. Because you say something about sleeping pattern, I didn't realize how weird it will be for the sleeping pattern until like I try to compete. Until I try to put it out there, okay, look, I would love to like see how is it like to fight. And my sleeping pattern is kind of fucked right now in a sense where I can sleep at around 10 p.m. I'll wake up at 2 a.m.
And you can't sleep after that, right?
Then after that, I was like fucking tired. I'll have to like go out. I'm a Grab driver, right? So I'll go out. I'll work. I'll drive a little bit. Then after a while, I do not know why I'll need to sleep. Like I'll just immediately drop off a passenger
and suddenly just snap to sleep.
I'll just of course I have enough energy
just to find a place for you to rest, right?
Yeah, and 3 hours, 4 hours gone. Then after that, I'll wake up. I feel very groggy, but it's just I don't know why I just need to sleep. Then I wake up, walk again.
Because the thing is because your body fat is really on the low level. Alright, when your body fat is low, your body is on survival mode. The cortisol level is high. Alright, your sleeping pattern will start to change. You start to have insomnia. So this is one of the things that not many people can actually take it because of the insomnia pattern, and it can really disrupt your mood badly because you don't get enough sleep. Quite moody, right? Sometimes
sometimes also like you wake up, like sometimes even if I sleep for 8 hours, wake up for 2-3 hours, and I'll go back to sleep again. I'm like, holy shit, it's not enough. It's not enough. Like it's not enough to keep me going for a little while until I realize, I do not know why I'm always tired. I'm like, I ate today, right? I've eaten today. I've enough. Like why am I always feeling so tired and stuff like that?
Because when your competition is coming much more nearer, right? Because you already make your body at peak performance, which means you're burning a lot of calories. Your hunger, because I'm not so sure about your sports. Like for my sports, right? I need to look as lean as possible and hard, as conditioned, as dry as possible. So my water level in the body is very low. My body fat is very low. You start to see muscle fiber striation of your muscles around the body. And I realized that when my body fat start to be at a certain percentage, I can't sleep. So until I start to, after competitions, right? When I start to reverse diet slowly, then I start to get better sleep because the calories allow me to reduce the cortisol level in my body. I start to feel better. Then I start to get a proper good sleep and not like what you say, 10 a.m. sleep, 2 o'clock wake up, you can't sleep, then suddenly 5 a.m. you start to feel sleepy, or 6 a.m. then you sleep again.
To 11 p.m. 11 a.m. Like, what the fuck, bro? Like that's like, I need my sleep.
Yeah, it's just like that. That's a problem because that's why even I took sleeping aids from the pharmacy, when you just buy
the melatonin.
Yeah, the melatonin, and I go to pharmacy, I will ask the pharmacist what do they have that I can buy without prescription. It doesn't help much, but it does help a little bit. Yep. So it's not an easy sport actually as compared to other sports. Even though your boxing is with respect that you need to have a speed, you need to have the weight match and everything, right?
And getting punched in the face.
That's another thing because like every sport has its own cons and have its own pros also. So like for me, it's like it's a lonely journey. No one's going to be there for you. You do it on your own. You do for your passion. Either you make it or break it. Like for you, yes, you can have support. People going to be there watching, cheering, or training with you because you have a coach or something, right? But the concept of getting punched, which is a real injury, all right? Because I know some boxers ended their career.
Because of eye injury, because of...
Not just that. I think one of them actually half paralyzed.
Fuck.
Yes.
I know someone who died. Okay, I don't know them personally, but in the sense where someone told me, or my coach told me his partner passed away.
Yeah,
because
I won't be surprised.
Because of weight cut, because of not enough water, and he's fighting at a certain weight and stuff like that.
The one that I know, boxers, they pass away is because when they hit, right, it hit the nerve and the neck and everything. So that was it's a sad sport. So that's why when you see those sole breadwinner, alright, who is a pro athlete in MMA, I respect them a lot because when they're under it, they put their life on the line. You never know they're gonna step out during a life or not. So sometimes when you see they step out during that, you see their wife hugging them like
fuck, you survived.
Yes, because they know it's either life and death. You just never know. Just a kick in the neck accidentally, and that's it. Just end your life, right? Or you can be full paralyzed. You wouldn't know. So that's why I say that when people say, "Oh, your sport is tough," or "Your sport is not tough," some people like ego, right? Yeah. I would say every sports have their own. So what's the reason? What's your purpose that you join? I don't criticize the sports what you join, So we support each other in all the sports because at the end of the day, no one is supporting us. We can support each other. So
we know what
the pro and cons are. So like for you, I know your sports, what you're going through and everything, right? With respect, that's why I say that I understand. Like you understand my sports, like, well, you don't have enough sleep and it can cause you to have critical health issues. So because you're malnutrition when you're dieting and everything, it also can cause a health issue. Like some bodybuilder recently passed away because their body is too dry. Lack of water. So it can happen also. So it's also life and death. But in another different way.
It's also the kind of things where people, I think it's because everyone's looking at Henry Cavill, everyone's looking at one of the Chris Hemsworth or something like that, Chris Evans, like oh my god, look at their body, right? Look at Kristen Bell, like look at their body, right? Like can we we are just trying to figure out like how to be them.
But if you take a look, right, they only train their body to get like that kind of body for that show for that period of time only, but not prolonged. Yep. Because if you see their body, like example, like off the show and they're not acting that show anymore, right? You can see their body change a lot. So it really depends on individual again. Like if they're acting, they really die. You know, like Kristen Bell. He can die to the extreme for some movies, like really skinny.
But then again, it's not healthy though.
Yeah, correct.
It's like it makes it seems really easy, but it's not easy.
It's not.
It's like how do you become like from the mechanist to become like Batman? Like
yeah. So that's why they say that it takes time for them. So they are like they sign a contract and they tell themselves that you got 6 months to prepare. So they said they will actually prepare themselves.
But the amount of like
time spent,
not just time spent, I'm not saying willpower. I'm not talking about willpower here. I'm not talking about the discipline you have to be, but the amount of work that you have to put through to your body to lose the amount of muscle. Say the machinist, right? Where he was like where he was like totally nothing. Like you can see the rib, that kind of like.
Correct.
So it's the amount of muscle mass you have to lose. Like I get it, right? When people talk about like I have more respect with Kristen Bell because than to say Chris Hemsworth when it comes to when it comes to acting, in a sense where I know they don't know me. I think they are very, very nice people. I think they'll be very, very nice people if I meet them. I think I'll be like, oh my god, they are there, and he'll treat me like. But the amount of effort that I have for Kristen Bell is like, you are losing muscle mass and
a lot. He looks very skinny.
He looks fucking skinny, and to do that is not.
Like you're not even supposed to touch weights, something like that. You're like forcing yourself. It's quite torturous, I would say, because you can't eat. You're forcing yourself that calorie deficit just to be part of that goal, which is not easy. That's why I say that for these Hollywood actors, they also go to a certain extreme for their roles, which is no choice for them because they sign up the contract and this is what they need to do. So at the end of the day, the takeaway that I learned, right, is one is what are your goals are, what's your focus, how do you attain that goal, whether do you do your research or is it you follow bro science or you really learn from someone. Because like for me, I hire a professional coach to understand more about my body and everything, and subsequently, yes, that's where I start to learn. And after that, I start to hire coach from overseas. From local, I hire to overseas coach who have been competing in multiple professional shows to understand what their approach are, what's their method, because sometimes everybody have a different method. You can try and tweak and see whether are you adaptable to this coach or that coach, which coach preference approach method that you like, that can suit your timing, can suit your way of pattern of life, your eating and everything. So to me, at the end of the day, when talking about bodybuilding and other sports, right, I respect all sports, definitely. And I wouldn't say that every sports have is bad because every sports uses strong. We're gonna say very straightforward, all right? But at the end of the day, it's the willpower for you to understand on how you push yourself to the extreme. Because every athlete have their way to know what they're supposed to train, how to diet, and how to achieve their goals. Like triathlete, they have to train, like not just swimming, cycling.
They have to do running.
Yep.
Man, the amount of running,
Correct. So you got to see, right? Swimming is just not that, but you need your back muscle also. You need to have strong muscles.
It's cardio, but different forms of cardio as well.
Yes, correct.
The amount of cardio one person.
Yep. Because honestly, most of the triathletes that got banned, even cyclists, right, is just because of blood doping, because they store their blood. Then they put more blood in their body because they have more rich oxygen blood, so they don't feel that tired. Yep. So I studied that in sports science, the different methods on how people get banned. So not just by testosterone, they have another way by they take out their own blood, then they store. After they restore back their own blood. We have more blood in the body, so you have more oxygen, so you don't feel that tired.
Because of the blood circulation.
Correct. Yep. So there's a lot of ways actually. So when people say, this triathlete is using steroid, no. Maybe they are not using steroid, but they are using another form of method which is banned also, but it's nothing to do with enhancement. So how
they are just that? Like the blood.
So that's why I say that some people is just being too naive, saying that it's steroids just because they see the media saying it. But in the reality, they do not know what they are doing or what they are saying.
Here is this thing. I'm back to fitness influencer again because we left for some time. So the idea of influencer itself, is it? I don't know whether it's good or bad actually to have them with their information, even though their information may or may not be right.
Most of the fitness influencers that I know of that I look at Instagram, I don't have names because I just always scroll up and see, right? Sometimes the knowledge that they give is like really copy and paste from somewhere because you read it somewhere. Alright? Sometimes what they say is like I say, false marketing, just to get high viewers, YouTube example. Alright? Do this for next 7 days, we'll get a flat tummy. Like really, come on, man. I eat every day. I still eat nasi biryani. I do. I want to make sure that I cannot. Because as I say, sometimes fitness influencers doing this is just because they trying to get sponsors to give them things. They trying to have more followers so they can actually promote other people's product where people pay them. Alright, to cast their item on their page because there's a lot of people watching. So at the end of the day, to me, social media can be good, can be bad. So it really depends on individual. I'm not a kind of person who's into social media, just in and out only. Alright, but at the end of the day, I would still prefer individual to do their own research thoroughly before.
But where do they start though? Here's this question where I think the influencer,
it starts from the generation itself. Back in my generation, there's no such thing as an influencer. I mean, back in our generation.
But you have the fitness club, though. So that's a good start. But however, for right now is, I think that social media influencer plays a part of the ecosystem. But at some level, you have to be careful in what you say.
Okay, for example, right? Everybody can say anything what they want. They also the freedom of speech in Instagram or even in TikTok whatsoever. Alright. At the end of the day, everybody can put what they want. But we as an individual,
you have to
do your own research. Whether is it right or wrong. Because we know there's always quantity over quality. Alright, of influencer. Alright. You can see a lot of quantity, a lot of people are having a lot of followers just because they look good. They how should I say? For female athlete, they look sexy just because they wear a lot of bikinis and everything. A lot of guys are following them. For example, for guys, there are a lot of like girls following them. I mean, it's fine with them. That's their choice, all right. But the knowledge at the other day, the quality knowledge, right? How many out of 100 you can get that really giving you the quality knowledge that you need? Not many actually. Alright. So that's why for me it's like, yes, I do follow some influencer that is reputable, but most of them that I know of when I see that I don't follow is just because that it doesn't share the same view as me. Yes, you can look good with respect, which is good. But sometimes whatever you say doesn't work for others, and what you say does it tally with what you're doing also.
Thank you for doing this.
Hey, no worries, man. No worries.